And by the way, I think this baby is going to set us on the right timeline. Have you felt like we were on the wrong timeline? Has something felt off lately? Okay, if it has, I know what you mean. This baby is gonna put us back. Oh my God, you're still pregnant.
I'm still pregnant.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
The question is, why did we wait so long to get pregnant?
How long are people supposed to wait?
The real time to have a baby is when you feel like it's when it's right.
When it's right for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone keeps telling us there's no right time.
Yeah, but there's definite, in my opinion, there's a wrong time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna speak on anyone's wrong time, but for me personally, there's a wrong time to have a baby.
And that would have.
See, no, hold on. Dear Lord, um, bless all the babies in all their timing. I would ask that you don't listen to me in this podcast, Lord.
Okay. What does it have to do with anything?
I don't want any of the babies
To be mad at you?
I don't want any of the babies to be on the wrong time. That's all I'm saying.
All the babies are here at the time they're supposed to be here.
That's why I had to ask God for forgiveness because
Okay.
there's no such thing as a wrong time baby. I was a wrong time
You
baby.
were. You weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big surprise.
Yeah, like an extra chicken nugget in the box.
Yeah.
I was
Best
there.
surprise.
That's the best surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only surprise I ever wanted.
Chicken nuggets.
Extra chicken nuggets.
Extra chicken.
Yeah.
I'd be really happy with chicken nuggets right now.
But speaking of chicken nuggets, your nugget,
My little nugget.
your little chicken nugget.
Yeah.
What do you think, was your reasoning? Why? I know, of course I know the story. What was your reason? What would you tell future mothers?
Well, I think my reasons, I have multiple reasons. Why don't
Yeah.
we start with yours?
I wanted a baby after my first experience with my little niece. That's when I
Okay.
wanted a baby. That's actually when I wanted a little girl because
Oh.
she was a little tiny, a little version of us, and she was super cute. She sang fun, cute songs, and that was when I said, okay, I think a girl would be awesome.
That was high school, so you knew you wanted kids in high school. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm ready. I could do this.
Well, yeah, I feel like I was ready. I was ready in high school. Not okay, hold on. Let's get this right. Let's get this right. I absolutely did not want a baby in high school. Okay? I
Yeah.
didn't want a baby in high school. I didn't even want to smell a diaper in high school.
Yeah.
But what happened was I fell in love with the little person in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, if I ended up having a baby, it probably wouldn't be as bad. That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
You know, I think the opposite happened for me because I had really good friends that had babies in high school and they were great kids.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this
Yeah.
for a long time.
Well, did you see the stress of it all?
I saw
Yeah.
only the stress
Okay.
of it all. And
Yeah.
and of course, like the fun stuff, like the Christmas pictures and
Yeah.
Santa and blah blah blah. But it was the stress of it all. So I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I could wait.
You saw your friends and you were like, this is too much.
This is too much.
Yeah. But the work was too much, the crying was too much. I mean,
I think all of it,
yeah.
right? There's so much. It's not just like, oh, you're having a baby, you're gonna raise a person.
Yeah. I just think about it like a little city that you are the governor and you have a population of like one or two people. So, I mean, if I were running for office and they said you're responsible for two people in this city, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to run for office.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be, I did not want to be responsible for anybody except
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. I feel like I was in a larger household, so I had five, it was five of us total, so it felt like a little city.
Personally, as like an older child, there's only the two of us, me and my brother.
Yeah.
And as an older child, I think you're already bestowed with
Mm.
so much responsibility
Yeah.
as soon as you have that second sibling.
Yeah.
And so once that happened and you're like in charge of your little two pair,
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, okay, I'm already working hard enough.
Yeah.
I don't need to now do more.
Yeah. Okay, so I was the youngest,
Yeah, that's
and
very
I
different.
had my responsibilities were to like pour the Kool-Aid in the glass,
Yeah,
not on the floor.
right.
If I had responsibilities, they probably didn't expect much of me. And so
Yeah,
I think probably that's one of the reasons why kids didn't seem like a burden. I was like, oh, it's gonna be more fun
right.
because that's what I'm used to the fun part, you know. After the niece, it wasn't my job to follow up with everything. So,
Yeah,
I don't know anything after cute songs that we sing.
right.
I don't know anything after you know, puberty, you know.
Right.
I just maybe they got a little rambunctious around me, but I never
Right.
dealt with all the consequences in the future, ramifications of, their decisions. So,
So when you met me,
mm.
you know immediately like, okay, hey, I want to have kids with this person?
I think I was so just it was an out of body experience when I met you because when I met you, I didn't think about anything other than just being with you.
Right.
I don't know. I think we were talking about like how when we first met, the biggest thing was, you have to stay safe because it took a long time to find you.
Yeah.
And so after meeting you, I don't think I cared about as much.
Hmm.
I knew I wanted kids. I've always wanted kids, but then that conversation came later. That's kind of where you need to kind of tell why we waited.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think when I met you initially, I was very clear about waiting
Yeah.
for kids. I was like, we need to enjoy our time together.
Yeah.
We need to get to know each other. We need to grow together for a little while because
Yeah.
we're changing every year
Yeah.
before we decide to have kids.
Yeah.
And you were okay with that
Yeah.
for,
I think I didn't want to push you into something that I felt like we had time to sort out. Like, you were growing into your career. You had worked hard pretty much your entire life to
Mhm.
get where you were. I mean, I'm obviously in the same situation, but I never really, I think it was more important to be with you than to be with you a certain way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I just cared about being with you and everything that came after that, it was kind of negotiable, like,
Yeah.
compromise and when do we have kids and what city are we going to live in? All
Right.
of these things I didn't care as much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had to finish school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my doctorate and that was super important.
Yeah.
We needed to travel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's so important to me, so we had to
Yeah.
travel to all the places I wanted to go.
I hate how corny it sounds, but traveling was therapeutic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was so therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure we could travel with the baby once he or she gets here, but
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to spend that time with you
Yeah.
exploring all these new places.
Yeah, I thought traveling was kind of, I don't know, I just thought it was museums and tourist stops and stuff like that. But you go to the right places and you can learn some things.
Learn a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah, you take some of it with you when you leave, and
yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a better person because we took time to travel. There were some difficult times when we were exposed to kind of nature at the right time,
Mhm.
and it kind of just took some of what we were dealing with, and nature had an abundance of space for what
Yeah,
we were dealing with, and
yeah,
so
to
it
hand
was
it over.
just to hand it over. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, so traveling was important. Didn't realize it. I didn't
yeah.
realize it was important until I met you. So a lot of stuff that I've learned since I've met you. You basically raised me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a baby when I
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I
baby.
was a baby.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, but seriously, you gave me that insight. I like that. I
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. So anyways, so traveling was important first.
yeah.
So you
Finishing
knocked that out.
school,
Yeah.
traveling, and then I also feel like growing into who we are together so that when hardships hit, we join together as one unit
Yeah.
against the hardship
Yeah.
versus us against each other
Yeah.
plus us against this hardship.
Yeah.
So I think we're better able to handle
Yeah.
really anything that comes our way.
Yeah, so we learned how each other processes difficult times. We had to learn how each other approaches conflict and how each other approaches obstacles first.
Yeah.
Which now that if there's a little baby coming along, the baby decides to go, yeah, like they say, you could either be a president all the way to Menendez brothers, and so
Yeah.
whichever direction you go, we have a game plan.
We have a game plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna figure that out.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's gonna be you and me against
the baby.
whatever.
You and me versus the baby.
Not
Versus
versus
the
the
baby.
baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be two versus one. Yeah, we're
Versus
way taller. We're way stronger than the baby. You and I. We
Yeah.
can do
I
this.
think we are stronger than a
We're
baby,
stronger
but
than a baby.
what was that story you told me about when you were a teenager? It was like you said something to your mom and it was like your dad said something to you.
My dad was very clear about making sure that we knew that his wife was his wife,
Mm,
his like woman, his number one, right? And we were the sons and daughters.
mm,
And so I remember that very clearly because it taught me that you're in a home that was built before you got there,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he made me very aware that that's his woman, the one that he chose to live the rest of his life with. You just got here,
Yeah.
right? And kind of feeling like, every once in a while you probably, need to feel like she's the number one, she is the main squeeze, she's the reason why his heart is, complete.
Yeah.
Um,
She's the reason you're here.
yeah, she's the
Yeah.
reason I'm here too. I don't remember the story more than I remember knowing that when I found my wife, that she would be exalted in such a way that my house would be built around her, and the family and the children would be there to support like what we were doing, like to support the unit. So you support the family by supporting the mother, you support the children by exalting the mother. In my mind, that's how it works. So the mom's kind of like the glue
Mm.
in my mind. The father, of course, is clearly someone who guides, the vision. But
He's the governor, like you
yeah, the
said.
governor. Yeah,
You're the ruler of
yeah,
this little city.
yeah. The head and the neck kind
Mhm.
of situation, like the head and the neck,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that's so important when you decide to have children.
yeah,
Because I think a lot of couples kind of grow apart after the
yeah,
children come along, and
yeah.
your parents did not.
Yeah, yeah, they don't grow apart. They grow together. Yeah. I like what my dad did for my mom. Like he would celebrate her by doing nice things. In my neighborhood, my mom, I felt like she always had the nicest cars. Now don't get me wrong, we weren't in my
Right.
mind, we were not super rich. We were doing well because of how hard they worked, but I saw how he would take care of her. He would buy her jewelry. He would just do all these things that just like when I met you, I was like, I want to do that. I want to do what I saw.
Yeah.
And everything from the little dances in the kitchen to you know to the surprise flowers, and
Yeah.
whatever it takes to just make you feel what I feel about you.
Yeah.
So those things, I felt like I wanted to be kind of capable of doing those things
Hmm.
whenever I met you. And I didn't know when I was going to meet you, by the way. So
Right.
that was another thing. Oh, and by the way, that's another one. We didn't have a timeline. We didn't really plan on, okay, we're going to have kids at year 5 or
Yeah.
year 6, because we've been together for 9 years total,
Yeah.
married for 8.
8. Yeah.
So we didn't really have much of a timeline at all.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't. I mean, everyone was pretty surprised when we announced our pregnancy.
Yeah.
I think for me, financially, it was the community, right? Like the
Yeah.
village,
Yeah.
the ability to create your village.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in India
Mm.
in a little village
Yeah.
where everyone is looking out for you.
Yeah.
You're in a multi-generational home,
Yeah.
you have help,
Yeah.
you can afford help.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted the ability to do because we live away from our family.
Yeah.
And so if we need help, because we will need help, because
Yeah.
everyone needs help,
Mm.
you know, financial stability allows us now
Oh yeah, yeah.
to have our village.
Yeah, so our support system will be able to kind of mobilize if necessary. I think my parents are tapped out. I
Yeah,
think they're tapped out. This is grandbaby number 14.
I
I
know.
think my dad, whenever we told him that this was, let's, whenever we told him that it was grandbaby number 14, I think it was the next day that he was kind of already mentally on a different page.
He was
I had to
done.
tell him, I was
Yeah.
like, Dad, don't forget, this is a big deal for us.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, 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 son, it's a big, yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, my grandparents did so much
Yeah,
for us.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. They were, part of the village
yeah,
again. And so, but I have my best memories
yeah,
are with them. So
yeah.
it's worth it.
Um, I didn't want to put you in a situation where you felt like you were on the clock, you know.
Yeah.
Because if I got a baby and I lost the love of my life, I mean, I don't know. It's not to, it doesn't sound like a awesome deal.
Yeah.
It sounds, I love the baby. Don't get me wrong, I would love the baby, but like,
Like you said, the foundation. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You're trying to create like this legacy
yeah.
and it started,
Built around the fact that I found you. Like
right.
for this to happen, you are impossible.
Right.
Like you are okay, this is gonna get real. All right, y'all don't understand. I'm about to get corny or I'm about to I think tell her all the things that I would say if the cameras weren't on. It was impossible
Yeah.
to find you.
It was
It was
impossible.
impossible.
Hmm.
But when I found you, it felt like we had already met.
Yeah.
And for something that was impossible to find but so familiar, it felt like magic a
It felt
little
like
bit.
magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think we talked about this. It was like when we first met, it was almost like we understood everything that had ever been told about love
Hmm.
without saying a word.
Yeah. Like we
We,
connected with everybody that's
yeah,
ever been in love.
yeah, we understood what it
Hmm.
meant.
Yeah.
Um, and apparently they're gonna, we're waiting. The same thing's about to happen with kids. Everyone's like, oh, well, it's really gonna hit you whenever you have your little one because now you're gonna understand, why we're all here. So that's what
Oh
they
my
say.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why we're all here.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And so because it hasn't happened yet,
Yep.
I would have rather have kept you than this theoretical magical spirit baby that I haven't met yet.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think you're here
Yeah.
and the baby isn't. So when you say you weren't ready, that's fine. I don't
Yeah.
know this baby yet.
I don't know this baby.
I'd rather have you
Yeah.
than this magical, theoretical avatar baby
Yeah.
that's gonna bring us back to the right timeline. By the way, I think this baby is going to set us on the right timeline. Have you felt like we were on the wrong timeline? Has something felt off lately? Okay? If it has, I know what you mean. This baby is gonna put us back.
It also feels like the right time.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it feels like the right time because it's happening,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I feel like at this point in life, it feels like it's meant to happen.
It's a little magical spirit baby that's gonna put us on the right timeline.
Yeah,
That's why it feels like it's the right time.
maybe.
So, waiting until you grow together,
Yeah.
waiting until you grow in your own skin.
Mhm.
Having some financial stability is important.
Mhm.
And then not pressuring your partner with unrealistic expectations of what they should do and
Yeah.
when they should do it.
And I think we started off with being very clear with each other. Like
Yeah,
I didn't keep anything from you and
yeah,
vice versa.
yeah,
And so we knew what each other
yeah,
wanted.
yeah,
So I think we just over time compromised and, worked together and
yeah,
now we're here
yeah,
and we're happy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting to be set on the right timeline.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think if I were to summarize this, I would say choose the right person
Yeah.
first.
I think that's the foundation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're gonna build roots.
yeah.
Yeah.
And don't choose someone because you're afraid of being alone.
Yeah.
Because I found you late.
Yeah. And
Late.
I mean, I find you pretty early, but I wasn't looking for you.
Yeah. That always makes you feel good to hear. But also, I think
What I'm saying, like, it was like you were a gift.
oh,
Yeah.
like the extra chicken nugget.
Yes.
I was another, I tend to pop up on people.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
I mean, here we are almost 10 years later, you know?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
10 years, but it feels like a couple of months,
Oh,
honestly. It
yeah.
doesn't
It
feel like
feels like
anything.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you for not going crusty on me.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's wrapping up episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I were to summarize this, I would say don't go off looking for love
Yeah.
because it just might pop up.
Yeah. It should just pop up.
Like
A chicken nugget.
it could pop up just like an extra chicken nugget. You ordered 5, they gave you 6. You shouldn't be upset about that.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
It's enough.
Okay.